There's something uniquely terrifying about being home alone. The silence, the shadows, and the unsettling feeling that someone might be watching. For most, it's just paranoia. But for some, that fear turns into a horrifying reality. Tonight, we bring you 3 disturbing true stories of people who were alone, or so they thought. Lock your doors, check your closets, and prepare yourself for some of the creepiest home alone horror stories you'll ever hear. Emma was a college student living alone in a small apartment near campus. One night, she decided to stay in and catch up on studying. Around midnight, she heard faint whispering coming from her closet. At first, she thought it was her imagination or the wind outside. But as she listened closer, she could make out words. Someone was muttering her name. Frozen in fear, she grabbed her phone and texted her best friend, who told her to get out immediately. Summoning the courage to move, she slowly reached for the doorknob, but before she could turn it, the closet door creaked open. Inside stood a man, thin, pale, and grinning. He had been hiding there for who knows how long. Emma let out a scream and bolted from her apartment. When the police arrived, they found evidence that he had been living in her walls for weeks, sneaking out at night to watch her sleep. James was house-sitting for his aunt while she was away on a business trip. It was an old Victorian home, with creaky wooden floors and antique furniture. The first night was uneventful, but on the second night, things took a sinister turn. As he was getting ready for bed, he glanced at the window and saw a tall, shadowy figure standing outside, staring at him. Thinking it was a trick of the light, James turned away. But when he looked back, the figure had moved closer. Suddenly, a tapping sound echoed from the window. Terrified, James ran downstairs, but every window he passed revealed the same dark figure, always outside, always staring. He called the police, but when they arrived, no one was there. However, muddy footprints led from every window back to the dense woods behind the house. James never house-sat for his aunt again. Lucy was home alone for the weekend while her parents were away. She had always felt safe in her house, but that night she had an uneasy feeling she couldn't shake. Before going to bed, she checked all the doors and windows to make sure they were locked. Satisfied, she crawled under her blankets and reached for her phone to scroll for a bit before sleeping. That's when she saw it. A text from an unknown number that simply read, "Check under your bed." Her breath caught in her throat. At first, she thought it was a cruel prank. But then she heard a faint, slow breathing coming from directly beneath her. Instead of looking, she carefully slid off the bed, keeping her movements as silent as possible. She sprinted out of the room and locked herself in the bathroom, calling the police. When they arrived, they found a man under her bed, clutching a knife. He had broken in earlier that evening and had been waiting for her to fall asleep. Being home alone can feel like a peaceful escape, until you realize you're not alone. These true horror stories serve as a terrifying reminder to always stay aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts. Lock your doors, check your windows, and if something feels off, don't ignore it. Because sometimes the real horror isn't in your imagination, it's lurking just out of sight. If you enjoyed these creepy stories, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another terrifying tale. Stay safe and sleep well if you can.